We are ranking the 8 most talked about penne pasta brands from worst to best, using taste tests, texture, and sauce grabbing power to settle the score. From expensive health food alternatives to legendary Italian imports, some will crumble under scrutiny, while others redefine what great pasta should be. Which penne deserves the top spot on your table? Let us begin with number 8. Banza chickpea penne arrives in a bright box promising a revolution, 20 grams of protein per serving, gluten-free, and nearly $5 for just 8 ounces. On paper, it is the health nut's dream. In boiling water, though, the fantasy crumbles, literally. Chickpea flour demands absolute precision. A minute too long and the penne collapses into mush, a minute too short and it stays chalky. Taste tests reveal a strong legume aftertaste that refuses to blend with classic marinara or meat ragu, turning every bite into a reminder this is not real pasta. The price stings twice. Not only is it the most expensive per ounce in the lineup, but the eating experience falls apart long before the pasta does. For all its bold nutrition claims, Banza's penne simply cannot deliver the texture or flavor that makes pasta worth craving. At the lowest end of the price spectrum sits Great Value Penne, Walmart's private label staple. At just 88 cents to $1.28 per 16-ounce box, it is the cheapest pasta on the shelf. Mass-produced in large North American plants, Great Value relies on high-speed Teflon dyes and rapid drying to keep costs down. The result is a smooth, uniform penne that cooks quickly, which makes it convenient for busy weeknights. But with that efficiency comes compromise. The pasta tends to be lighter and less substantial, and while it holds up well enough when fresh, reheating can leave it softer and less resilient. For meals where the sauce does all the heavy lifting, Great Value gets the job done without fuss. Still, the trade-off is clear. You save money, but you lose the robust bite and texture found in pricier, more carefully crafted brands. Ronzoni has anchored American kitchens since 1915, earning its place as the weeknight standby for generations. At $1.29 to $1.79 per 16-ounce box, it sits comfortably above bargain shelves, but well below the premium imports. The brand's penne cooks in just 7 to 9 minutes, a quick turnaround made possible by thinner walls and high-efficiency production. What you get is a smooth, glossy noodle shaped by Teflon dyes, designed for speed and consistency over character. The texture is predictably firm when served fresh, but lacks the rough surface or deep wheat aroma found in Italian rivals. Sauce coats the pasta but doesn't cling, sliding off more easily than on bronze-cut shapes. For everyday meals, Ronzoni delivers reliability and value, but it stops short of offering the depth or sauce-grabbing power that separates great pasta from the merely good. Barilla's Blue Box is a fixture in American kitchens, stacked high on grocery shelves from coast to coast. At $1.50 to $2.29 for a 16-ounce box, it's the benchmark for everyday penne, accessible, predictable, and engineered for consistency above all. The pasta's 11-minute cook time delivers a reliable al dente bite, batch after batch, thanks to a streamlined process using Teflon dyes and high-speed drying. This approach produces a smooth, glossy noodle that resists breakage and cooks evenly, but it also leaves the surface too slick for sauce to cling with any conviction. Flavor is mild and neutral, designed to blend quietly into whatever recipe lands on the table. In a crowded taste test, Barilla scored a perfect 10 out of 10 from the daily meal, praised for its family-friendly dependability. Yet when stacked against bronze die imports, its lack of rustic texture keeps it firmly in the middle of the pack, never disappointing but never transcendent. Garofalo penne stands apart with a legacy that runs deep in the hills of Gragnano, the town Italians call the birthplace of dry pasta. Founded in 1789, Garofalo's methods are protected by the Pasta di Gragnano PGI seal, a legal guarantee that every box is made with local spring water, high-protein durum wheat, and traditional bronze dyes. The result is a penne that delivers both history and measurable quality. At around $2.79 to $3.49 for a 16-ounce box, Garofalo is not cheap, but it does not reach the heights of boutique pricing either. What you get for that price is a sturdy 14% protein content, translating to a firm, resilient bite that holds up in boiling water and under sauce. The rough, porous surface, a direct product of bronze die extrusion, grabs onto ragu and marinara with a tenacity you will not find in mass-market brands. 11 minutes in the pot yields penne that is not just pasta, but a showcase of centuries-old craft, offering the sauce-holding power and authentic texture that define the best Italian meals, all without breaking the bank. Rao's homemade penne doesn't just fill a plate, it stands up to the oven. Each tube is extruded with extra thick walls, requiring a patient 12 to 14 minutes at a rolling boil to reach that signature al dente bite. Where other brands wilt under the weight of bubbling cheese and sauce, Rao's penne keeps its structure, holding firm through every stage of a baked ziti or weeknight casserole. Taste tests by Sporked single out this brand as the top choice for baked pasta, praising its hearty, rustic body that resists turning to mush even after a long stint in the oven. The secret lies in house-milled Italian semolina, carefully formed and dried to create a noodle that is substantial, chewy, and never flimsy. At $3.49 to $4.29 per box, Rao's sites in the premium tier, but what you get is resilience and heft that transforms a simple dinner into a restaurant-quality dish. It is a penne built for stress tests, thick enough to deliver a satisfying bite, tough enough to survive the heat, and just porous enough to soak up bold, meaty ragu without falling apart. That structural integrity is why Rao's secures the number 3 spot. It is the go-to for anyone who wants their pasta to shine in the oven, not just on the stovetop. La Molisana Penne Regat sits quietly on the shelf, but beneath the modest price tag, just under $3.50 for a full pound, lies a pasta with near-restaurant ambition. Made in the mountains of Molise, each piece is shaped by bronze dies, giving it a rough, ridged surface that is anything but ordinary. Those grooves are not just for show. In blind taste tests, La Molisana outperformed mainstream brands in one key area, sauce adhesion. Olive oil and tomato cling to every ridge, refusing to slip away even after a twirl of the fork. The pasta's golden hue hints at slow, careful drying and a toasty aroma that comes through in every bite. At a firm 12-minute cook, the result is a penne that stays satisfyingly al dente, never chalky, never limp. Independent sensory panels scored it 7.5 out of 10, praising its texture and oil-holding power. For just a small step up from supermarket staples, La Molisana delivers the kind of sauce-grabbing performance that feels like a secret upgrade. It is the Italian insider's pick for elevating a weeknight dinner without splurging on luxury imports. Rustichella d'Abruzzo penne stands in a class of its own, the result of a century-old commitment to craft that most pasta makers abandoned generations ago. At nearly $7 for a 17.6-ounce box, it is the most expensive penne on the shelf, yet every step in its creation justifies the price. The Peduzzi family have run Rustichella since 1924, and they refuse shortcuts. Each batch begins with select durum wheat and cold mineral-rich spring water drawn from the Abruzzo Apennines. The dough is pressed through hand-carved bronze dies, some over 100 years old, leaving the surface coarse and porous. That rough surface is an ideal canvas for sauce to cling, not slide. But it is the drying process that truly sets Rustichella apart. Instead of rushing through hot air tunnels, these penne rest for more than 56 hours in temperature-controlled chambers, allowing flavors to deepen and structure to develop. The result is a dense, resilient noodle that holds its shape, whether tossed in a delicate pomodoro or baked under layers of cheese and ragu. Chefs around the world reach for Rustichella when only the best will do, praising its ability to absorb sauce without breaking down or turning gummy, even after reheating. Independent sensory panels and instrumental tests confirm what tradition already knows. Rustichella delivers the roughest surface, the highest sauce retention, and a complexity of flavor that mass-market brands simply cannot match. The price per ounce may be steep, but the experience, rich wheat aroma, perfect bite, unmatched sauce-grabbing power, transforms a simple plate of penne into something extraordinary. For those willing to invest in true artisan quality, Rustichella d'Abruzzo is the clear number one. Across all 8 brands, one truth stands out: technique trumps marketing. Bronze die extrusion and slow drying create real pasta magic, while shortcuts deliver forgettable bites. In a world of glossy packaging, it's the old world process that elevates penne from filler to feast. Taste the difference. Never settle.